Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of AI Amigos Show. My name is Marina. I am an AI lead and data expert. And here with me are my two good friends that I would like to introduce you, Shanchao Wang. Jan, hello.
Hello, how's it going, everyone?
So, Shanchao is a cloud expert. Maybe, Jan, you want to describe a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I've been working in cloud infrastructure for a good while now. From the very beginning, it was Linux server, network, all that sort of thing. Moving on to cloud now. So very much deep in the cloud space and all aspect of the cloud, DevOps and operation side and FinOps, all that sort of yeah.
Thank you. And also James Garza, a good friend of mine, uh, as well. James, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, so my background is in financial services, more in fintech and developing AI for trading. And I'm a data scientist. And, really, when you look at financial services, at least in trading, it's all about recognizing patterns and trends, whereas AI allows you to do this in a large scale with large amounts of data.
Exactly. The three of us, we are AI enthusiasts, and the main goal of this podcast is keep you updated with the last trends of AI and, well, having a bit of fun. And speaking of which, something that happened a couple of days ago was that a first version of Sora created by OpenAI has been leaked. Um, there was like a big debate online. I just read many things about this. And the main concern was what happened with the copyrights or with the privilege of the authors, the artists. I don't know, guys, what do you think about that? But in my opinion, it's a kind of borderline with the ethics.
Well, what is Sora, Marina?
Sora is the version of OpenAI to create videos or images, for example. They already have the DALI version, but with this one, you can create different videos. So, for example, for advertising, for marketing. And the main issue here was that OpenAI was using images that were available online. So, for example, I don't know, images or videos of people on YouTube, on LinkedIn, etc.
Instagram, Facebook, all of that.
Exactly, like everything that is there that is open, open and public. So I don't
I think
know,
I,
like
I
on
think
the
when I
one,
signed up on my terms and conditions with Meta, I think I agreed to all of that, didn't I?
not really. You agree for them to use it, but it is different if you leave it, public. There are a lot of people who have their media open. Like for example, I have my LinkedIn is public. Everyone can see what they post. So maybe OpenAI also use my images. Who
Yeah, but
knows?
what does public mean? Does public mean that they could use your images in whatever? Well, I mean, I guess what the question would be better this way: because it's public, does that mean that someone can take your image and use it for profit to sell it? Because that's
Ah,
basically what they're doing, aren't they?
well, that's what they say. It's a bit borderline, kind of. Okay, you are giving your data or your image or whatever for like on your wheel, and then, but what is the purpose of that? You want people to know about you, but do you want your image to be used for these purposes? This is like on the one hand, I would say like this is very crossing data privacy somehow.
Is
Well,
this
go on.
can you like my thinking is like they're trained on your data, right? Can you actually directly output your if you know like I think you can try to say, do you know this person? See if the data pop out or something. This is a thing like to actually verify how to verify. This is an interesting question, isn't it?
Yeah,
To
that's
oh
as well. Like, how can you prove? Okay, they use my data or my image or whatever. Like, it's not possible to prove. And there were a lot of writers, for example, and artists who are drawing, etc. Because of course, like all the images were taken,
Yeah.
and what they were talking about this week was what happened with our rights. So if we want, if we don't want, so and what happened with us as well, in the sense that we don't receive any monetary compensation, for them to use our work. But on the other hand, what I think is okay, but they are using the, let's say, the pieces of art that you just posted online. So if you posted there for people to use it, but it's very hard to prove it. How do you go
Yeah.
and say, okay, I knock
Yeah.
your door and say you use my data? It's not possible to prove.
Not directly, no. Anyway, yeah.
No, it's super hard, isn't it?
Yeah. I know the
Well, it
fiction.
doesn't mean it's right, but go on.
But if you do like what do you call it? Kind of if you're novel, if you write something, you're writing in text or something, it's probably easier, isn't it?
Mhm.
Because whenever you have the image, they all break down to layers to recognizing machine learning and all that. Is I think.
Exactly, exactly, absolutely. And this, I believe, it would be like a big issue in the very near time, because like there is, first of all, there is no way to control it. But then there is another problem, guys. What happens with the privacy of the people? So what what's the plan on that? And so far, OpenAI remains silent. Like they didn't make any comment or announcement or anything. So then I don't know if they actually took on board. Okay, yes, we are responsible.
Oh,
It's,
they won't ever do that.
yeah.
Because that
It's
means if you say you're responsible, then you have to pay. So, you know.
Well, and this is another thing. So I remember recently I had a conversation at work with some people, and then we were talking about the regulations, the ethics, etc. And one of the points was, um, in the end, nobody goes to prison. I mean, like, you don't see that the owner of the big companies, they go to prison because there was like a data breach or breaking the GDPR regulation. They just pay a lot of money, so I think
mhm.
they have to pay like 5% or 10% of their revenue. But it's everything about money. So what's the point of the regulation? Is it really taking care of the people, or is it more like, okay, we want to
Yeah, but
have money for the state, for the
I don't think it's
government?
a criminal offense. I think it's a civil offense. You know, so like if you think of like, I'll give you a good example. For example, here in Ireland just recently, there was a case. McDonald's put a case against Supermax, and they were saying that there was a an infringement on the name because they used Max, and they have a Big Mac and so on. And they took them to court, and they were able to prove that actually they had the name Supermax prior to. Well, let's say, for example, that they had been found liable in regards to the case would have gone against Supermax. Then Supermax would have had to pay fees. Like nobody would have gone to jail. You know what I mean? Yeah, I made burgers and now I'm in. Yeah, like what are you in for? I'm in for burgers. I took the name of someone else's burgers.
But
That's
this
not going to
raised
happen.
a very interesting question, like James as well. Like if you're thinking about like basically their case is determine who kind of registered first,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, for those videos Sora created, right? There's just a kind of chance, right? There's a 1 in 1 million chance or something. It might be similar to the person in the world. We just didn't see that yet. It didn't hit that yet.
yeah.
But that raises another question. I was just thinking when I listened to your story. So if Sora created this person's image before this person was born, who has the
Oh,
right,
Sora does.
right?
well, so it would be like too advanced. But it could
Yeah, but
happen,
like,
because it is said that we have people that are very similar to us in some place in the world, like like a kind of lost twin, like somewhere. And then again, like, it would be extremely hard to prove. It's not that you can check, like the fingerprints or something to say, okay, they
yeah,
use my
exactly.
data.
Like Sora created this person, and 18
Yeah,
years later, this person grew into that. looks like exactly like Sora. Who has the rights? It can change his face when he born, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, when all the the computer vision started, I remember like many years ago, I read an article that they were talking about the group of researchers. They replicate uh, like a painting, of Rembrandt, like one of the Rembrandt's paintings. And then they said that this was like a massive deal because then it was, if they replicated the same, who was the author of this painting?
Mm.
So the researchers, the machine, Rembrandt himself who died, but now like because at this time,
Well,
or who, and then there was no agreement on that. Like there was really no agreement on this, and it was like a big deal. And it is as you said, like who has the right?
well, I
Mm.
It's
know
so
in the
hard.
U.S., if you at least in the U.S., they've put in patent laws where if you try to do anything that's generated through artificial intelligence, excuse me, they will not take allow you to get a patent on that. So, like Jin Shao's there saying, I get an image, I generate this image using Sora, and now AI says, well, okay, I own that image because I created it. That would be a bit interesting to see that case go forward. But what I mean is that so OpenAI cannot go and say, well, that's my copyrighted image, and so Jin Shao, if you want to use that image, you're going to have to pay me royalties.
Oh,
So they're,
even
they're
worse.
not allowing AI generated content in the U.S. anyway at this time, in order to be able to copyright that and patent it and say that that's mine.
But imagine that they are using an image that it looks exactly like you. And then you just post your image for whatever reason. You cannot pay to OpenAI for using your own image. Would it make sense?
Mm.
Maybe, maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's definitely. I mean, what comes to mind for me anyway in regards to this is thinking about like are we thinking of old ways of the way the world used to be? Let's say pre AI, and now we're getting into a world of AI, and maybe the laws, or not maybe, but the laws are going to have to adapt
Mm.
to the way the things are now because if content is now going to be created not of a simple image, but an amalgamation of, let's say, a lot of data into an image or into a song or into a video, who actually owns that? And maybe we need to look at, because let's say, for example, Jinshao, you created a video using some images. Do you own that, or does someone, but you use their tool? I mean,
Hmm.
there's the same argument in regards to using like Copilot for coding. If Copilot you're using for coding, who owns that code? Do you own that code, or does Copilot because they helped you
Hmm.
with it? You know?
But this is the a thing I know. Like Adobe update their new contract as well. Every user use Adobe has to agree on this agreement. Basically, they can use a work. They can take your art to train their models. So a lot of artists doesn't want to agree on that. So that was the thing as well. Yeah, it could be a totally new way of thinking for sure to moving forward. It's just very interesting. If you're a normal face like us, should be okay.
I hope so. I hope so. We don't know.
We never
But
know
it's
exactly.
yeah, it's not like intellectual property now. This is biological properties.
That's
Basically, you
interesting.
can yeah.
True.
It's not what we think. It's straight away your face and all that sort of thing now.
Yeah,
So,
that's an
Well,
interesting
I,
point of
I
view.
I would like to know what people think. So then I would encourage you to either contact us or maybe comment then on our podcast. It would be amazing. And I think this conversation has to keep on going. So it would be great inviting our audience to talk to us.
yeah.
I think so. Guys, thank you so much for this chat. It was amazing talking to you, and I'm looking forward to our next episode.
Bye now.
Thank you.
See ya.
So I've
Bye
stopped
bye.
this. So I've stopped this